Good afternoon, Big Brother fans. It is Friday, August 23rd, day 39, day 38, day 38 or 9. I think 9, I'm not sure. I'm not going to do the math right now for you. Doesn't matter. And we finally have live feeds. So up until about an hour ago or less, No, it's more than an hour ago, actually. It was a couple hours ago. The live feeds had been off. So since I talked to you guys this morning, those of you that listened to this morning's podcast, the feeds were off most of the day. And there was all kinds of conspiracy going on out there. Oh my gosh. I did walk away from the feed several times, or from the Twitter several times, because like, no, I'm not dealing with this. Because there was all kinds of thoughts. And I don't even know if I mentioned it. I may have. I don't know if I did. There was this whole conspiracy theory going around out there that the feeds had been down for a while, that Chelsea was crying after the show last night, after the return from the HOH, when we found out that Jakora had won the HOH. Then Chelsea was crying, and it was implied that it was something that Leah said. And this is a lot of hearsay here because I don't have the exact receipts or the facts or everything, so please bear with me. It was implied it was something Leah said, and Leah has had a couple of incidents or more earlier in the season where it seems that she said some things that were not appropriate. She either made a joke or she used some slang, or we don't know the details. But we heard that production had a talk with her. Like, they talked to her. The house guests had talked about this. We didn't see the incidents. As far as I know, although I am going to do some feed digging later tonight at a specific time where people feel like she may have said something. So we're going to go see, just to satisfy our curiosity, not because it ended up being anything in the end. But at the time, we didn't know. All we knew was the feeds had been down for hours. And so people were speculating, it's probably AI related, or it's related to, people started saying they thought for sure that Leah had been expelled, all right? Let me get cut to the chase. Leah was not expelled. Nobody was expelled. But it went on, and there was no quieting these people. It was just like, why? Why would they do that? You know, the feeds got shut off at 4:30 in the morning. Why would they do that? And it's like, well, sometimes they do these things. The house guests were still up when the feeds went off, or at least some of them. So, it was like, I thought the voting for the AI Instigator didn't end until earlier today, but it ended, I think it ended yesterday early. So it ended before the end of, I think it ended yesterday at noon. I thought it ended today at noon. So it was over. So production knew who the instigator was. So all they had to do was have a talk with the instigator and said, you're the instigator. And by the way, I am maintaining for now, until I find out differently, that it's Tucker. Because we all thought that Tucker would get it, because Tucker is so popular with everybody right now. Some other people are saying they think it's Joseph. But based on what we know so far, it could be either. Because yes, the AI instigator has been instigating. And so it could be either Tucker or Joseph. I'll talk about that in a second. Point is, the feeds were off. We're speculating. People are guessing. I'm saying maybe they started the AI Instigator at at that time, and the house guests were up, and maybe it's coming and do a couple of things, and so they've been kept up, and they're just keeping the feeds off until they stop talking about it, or for the first time to play out. We still really don't know exact details. But it was getting just crazy, and I got word through multiple sources. Thank God my sources are talking to me a little bit. Some of them. It was implied heavily that nobody's been kicked out of the house. That is not why the feeds are off. So I tried to share that a little bit, coyly, slyly. And But people still wouldn't believe you. Well, why are they off if they're not off for that? That's, if they're not off, then what are they off for? And it's like, well, sometimes people don't, just because I know why they're not off doesn't mean I know why they're off, right? It was more of an instance of, can someone please confirm that no one's been kicked out of the house? That's all I wanted to know. Can anybody please make sure to let me know that no one's been kicked out of the house so that I can keep squashing that rumor? So that's how that kind of went down. If I had anybody that would tell me anything that I knew that maybe we're not going to pretend that we know, and it's all pretend and whatever. I could be making this all up because, I was 99.99999% sure that Leah had not been expelled before I got any information from anybody. If I got any information from anybody. Maybe I made it all up. All right? Okay, so the feeds finally did come back at, I don't know what time, but when the feeds came back, the house guests were just kind of sitting around talking, right? Not a whole lot of stuff mentioned. Then we heard, I think Mackenzie said she thought she was going to go up. So nominations haven't even happened yet. By the way, technically they're happening. We think they're happening right now as I'm recording this. So Mackenzie made a comment that she thought she was going to go up. And we knew that Tucker had kind of volunteered last night, like told Takor, well, if you can't come up with anybody else, you can put me up. By the way, those of you that didn't listen to today's, Takor is the head of household. She won. It was some kind of a question. They looked at like videos or pictures or something, and they had to answer based on that. And it only took 3 questions for her to win, which is very surprising. I'm wondering if a bunch of people decided that they didn't want it, and Takor wasn't smart enough to be one that didn't want it. But neither here nor there. Takor's head of household. She's got to make 3 nominations. And we think, again, that she'll probably go with Tucker because she didn't want to nominate anybody. Mackenzie seemed likely, and then Mackenzie said, I think it's going to be me. And then it's the third nominee. Who's she going to put up? And we aren't sure. I saw right before they cut away to do nominations, at least a couple of different accounts implied that it was going to be Cam, which that was a bit of a surprise to me. I mean, that was one of the names that was floating out there, but I thought it might be Leah. That was the name that I was thinking possibly. But Cam was another one that had been mentioned, so Leah may be the backup nominee if the power veto gets won and used, right? So that's where we're at. Feeds are down for nominations, and hang on, we're driving just like we were. This is me this morning. Those of you that heard this morning, so I was like, I'm driving, wait a minute, I gotta navigate, I gotta negotiate, I'm doing the same thing. I'm driving, and I gotta shut my brain off for half a second so I can be very careful about what I'm doing. So the feeds are off for nominations. The feeds went down. So after the feeds came back, they went down for a little bit, for a short, brief time. When they came back, apparently the AI instigator had instigated. And from what the bits and pieces I've picked up, it sounds like it was Quinn's avatar, Quinn's AI personality in the box. And Quinn said some of the following things. It was something about, was Rubina mentioned? I can't remember if Rubina was mentioned, but the key ones were Pentagon Forever, and that Rubina and Quinn are holding hands. We're holding hands. So did I mention that? Did I mention that this morning? That Leah noticed that not Quinn and that Tucker and Rubina were holding hands. So Leah noticed that Tucker was holding Rubina's hands under the covers yesterday, and she told multiple people. I know she told Joseph because I saw the clip. I don't know who else she told, but I also heard that Chemo heard about it, so she may have told Chemo. And then, so other people know. I personally think, and I was told by somebody that Chemo also told Joseph. So, or not Joseph, Tucker. So Chemo told Tucker, so Tucker knows, all right? That's where we get into the whole who's the AI instigator thing. So the AI instigator was Quinn, was shown, or the avatar was Quinn. Quinn mentioned a Pentagon, which Quinn was a part of, and supposedly Quinn told some people about, right? So that's making Quinn look bad. Calling out Tucker for holding Rubina's hands. And I don't remember what the other comment was. It may have been just something about Rubina possibly, but I should look it up, but we'll worry about it tomorrow. We'll have other ones to talk about. But that was it. And so now they're trying to figure out who the instigator is based on that kind of stuff. Who would have said this? Who knew this? Who knew that? And I said this to you guys already. If Tucker was the AI instigator, I would imagine he would say things that would make him potentially look bad so that he could get a sympathetic nod. And people are just like, oh, well, why would Tucker bring up the hand-holding? Well, that's why. If Tucker knows about the hand-holding, which we've now established that he did, think about that. Tucker knows about the hand-holding. That's not a good thing for Tucker, right? Implying that he and Rubina are in a showmance or anything. But it's already been pointed out now, so there's no putting that genie back in the bottle. You are not stopping that discussion from happening, and everybody knows about it now. So, well, what's going on here, folks? All right, traffic again. Everybody knows that they are a showmance, potentially, so why not just embrace it? Which is what Tucker said to Rubina. He says, hell, now everybody knows, so we might as well do it. We can do it publicly because everybody knows. So Tucker has said, let's just embrace it, and somebody else looks bad for like kind of sneaky and slimy for pointing it out, and it was Quinn's avatar. I think Tucker did it. Some people are saying they think Joseph did it. They think Joseph. There's a lot of people online that said they were voting for Joseph to get the AI instigator. I still am of the mindset of I don't think Joseph is popular enough with the TV viewers to get it. Now, remember, voting was for an entire week. So it's possible that the live feeders, in this case, by being diligent and constantly tapping and using multiple email addresses, they could have outnumbered the TV-only viewers who may have only done it once. So it's possible that it is Joseph. I would be happy if it was Joseph. I would like it to be someone besides Quinn or besides Tucker, but I really think it's Tucker. But we'll see how the rest of the weekend or week or however long this thing is going to go for plays out, and how we'll find out on Sunday night. So we'll find out on Sunday night who it is. But I would say at this point, yeah, it's probably Tucker or Joseph. Those are the two that make the most sense to me. And I will be fine with either. All right, what else? I think for now, that's about it. No word about have-nots, so I don't think there's have-nots this week, which is what I guessed. And anything else I can tell you guys for now? I don't think so. I think we'll do another podcast, at least one tomorrow, where I'll catch you up on the power veto. Unless something dramatic... No, I won't do anything tonight. Nothing dramatic is going to happen tonight. Nominations are going to be very likely the ones that I've already said, so just assume they are. Even if they aren't, whatever. We'll talk about it tomorrow. This isn't game-changing stuff here. On a side note, here's another side note. One of my many side notes. Today, I saw that Adam Polk, however you say Adam's last name, from Big Brother, former house guest Mr. Bacon, who I met when I was in New York a few weeks ago, and is a fan of the Ron and Fez show, which I used to be a fan of, which I was a fan of the Ron and Fez show, and he was a fan long before me. He pulled out his, what's called a big ass card, which was your membership card. He had his. I was never a member of the thing because it was gone before I started listening to the show. But anyways, I digress. Shocking. Ron has a daughter, and Ron and his daughter have been doing a podcast, or doing a radio show on Sirius XM since Fez. Well, she was on the show, I think, before Fez passed away, but Fez passed away. Now it's Ron and his daughter doing it, and now Ron's daughter is doing a podcast about Big Brother, Maybe she's done it for a little while. It's called Little Sisters. I wasn't aware of it, but Adam posted that he was on it as a guest this morning, and it was episode number 6 for this season. And so I said, you know what, the feeds were down, right? So I'm gonna listen to it at lunchtime. So I listened to it at lunchtime, about 40 minutes. It was pretty much most of it was an interview with Adam, which is cool. His opinion, his take on things, his insight into Big Brother, which is interesting. And then they started talking about Big Brother 26, and I'm like wanting to reach through I'm like, no, let me talk. This is why I don't listen to podcasts about Big Brother. Because it's like, no, wait, cover this, talk about this part. It's like, no, that's not quite right. Like, they talked about the charcuterie thing and how, how great it was and how amazing, and how, you had Angela lying on the floor and the people over there eating, and it's like, but they weren't. It wasn't at the same time. That was all in the editing, and I kind of wanted to say, but that's not how it really happened. But it was great for an edit, but that's not how it really happened. And I just, yeah. So I listened to it. It was good. Check it out. It's called Little Sisters, I think Little Sisters Podcast, or Little Sisters Big Brother Podcast. So it's them. They're good. They're enthusiastic, and they're professional. She's been doing radio for years at this point now. And I just commented. I was like, I'll listen to it, because I used to call into his show. I used to call into the show, and I don't know how old she is, but she must have been fairly young when I was calling into the show, because I started calling into Ron and Fez's show about Big Brother. For Big Brother 7, I think. I want to say it was Big Brother 7. I don't think I called in during Big Brother 6, but I may have. I just remember getting, in the lead up to Big Brother 7, I got, what's her name from Big Brother 5? I got her to call into the Ron and Fez show, and I've told this story before, and I can't think of her name right now. She took 3rd place, right? From Louisville. I got her to call into the show to talk to Ron and Fez. That was my little, I got contacts. I can get her to call in. And I did. Yeah, then I would call into Ron and Fez's show occasionally, talk about Big Brother. And I had a bumper that they would play when I would call in. They would play David Bowie's Big Brother. And it was kind of very cool. And I thought I was the coolest thing in the world. And then I stopped calling in, because I think Ron got tired of Big Brother and got tired of me calling in about Big Brother. He was like, okay, the bit's done. Let's move on after some period of time. I mean, we're talking like 1 or 2 seasons. I don't remember. I digress. It was an interesting little podcast. Listen to it. So there you go. I listened to another Big Brother podcast too yesterday, and yeah, I just can't do that. Yeah, I reaffirmed some of the things that I thought about. Yeah, I would love to do a long form. I would love to do another Big Brother podcast where I wasn't just talking to myself. That I know, I would, but yeah, I also know how much work it is. It's so much easier to do it this way. It's so terribly organized, though, and I apologize for that, but it is. But yeah. All right, I'll shut up now. I'm home. I'm gonna go take care of my dog and watch some of the feeds, maybe, if they're back from the nominations. And then I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, all right? Have a good one, everybody. Have a good evening. Thank you for your support once again. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Friday and weekend or whatever. All right, take care. Bye-bye.